Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for a preparation for trading on September 25th, 2018. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. We'll start off as usual with our calendar here. So we do have Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda speaking early in the London session or late in New York session, late in Asian session. And then not a whole lot. There is one MPC member speaking here. And generally when there's any kind of central banker, so generally we hear a lot from the chair, central bank chair, but anytime there's an MPC member speaking or a Fed or I should say central banker speaking, it will have an impact. So especially there's a lot of heightened interest in British pound right now because of Brexit and stuff like that. So we do have to keep an eye on this. Other than that, we have consumer confidence number in the New York session here. And into the Asian session, we'll have trade balance and business confidence number for New Zealand. So fairly light in terms of news. And of course, on Wednesday, we have FOMC, which will really be the main focus of this week. So let's move on to the charts here. We'll start off with Euro US dollar here, looking at our daily. So we see that today we had a doji here. And now we are at an interesting support resistance level in terms of our euro dollar. So for 2 days, we have had price reject that level. But it's an interesting point because it is holding above the previous resistance here that got broken, but it's getting rejected at that next support and resistance level. So in this one here, what we can do is overall bias currently is to the upside. As we can see here, we are looking for a move to the upside here. It is holding above this previous support resistance level, resistance turning into support here. But this one can go both ways. So what we have to keep in mind is if price gets into this high and holds below the high, then chances are it will come back in this range that it's been trading in. Other option is that price breaks through the low here and then does one of these, retest of the trend line, and then a drop. So both of those options are available, but in the near term, currently the bias is to the upside and looking for a further move to the upside. So the first target would be the retest of the high here, 1.1810 level. But if it rejects here, then we are looking for a move to the downside. But let's say if it goes into here, and then the next level is 1.1850, which is not that far. And this is where our major support and resistance level is. So chances are that it will do one of these. So that's what we have to be, we have to look out for. So currently the bias is to the upside, but again, we have FOMC this week. So US dollar can be a little volatile. So keep that in mind. So we have to be open to trading both sides here. All right. So in terms of the British pound here, this one is actually looking so we had a bearish form from a weekly perspective. So for daily here, this one is bearish here, and it's the opposite of euro dollar here. So here we had a move up into important support and resistance level, drop, pull back, and I would look for a drop in this one. So bias for pound dollar is bearish, but we could go into the testing of this high or even into this pin here. So that's something to be mindful of. Overall biases to the downside. Next target level will be 1.2980 to the downside. Aussie dollar here. No Aussie news coming up, but we have a drop in this. So the volume is neutral. We have a bearish pin bar here. So looking for price to drop further Next target here would be 0.7200 level. So bias is bearish for this. However, now if US dollar crosses start to move, then what we could see is a test of the high and a move like that. So that's something that we have to watch out for. Otherwise, based on the daily here, this looks bearish. New Zealand dollar here, from weekly as well, just to kind of keep in mind, both of these Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar are into resistance. So if we were to go back to Aussie dollar here, so we are into resistance here. So it does make sense for them to be turning around. From New Zealand dollar perspective here, this looks bearish here as well. It's not bearish engulfing yet, and our volume is neutral. So it's not very, very bearish at this point, but the daily candle is bearish. So the bias will be to the downside here from daily and looking for price to drop into 0.6600. So bias is bearish. Dollar CAD here. Dollar CAD from weekly perspective is in a bit of a range here. We see that price has rejected the low here twice. It rejected or tested the support level, has rejected it. We have a bullish close here. So looking for price to move up higher. And the target here would be the high of this candle, which is 1.300. And then from there, we could see it drop. If price comes into this resistance, then it could drop from there. But right now, the bias is bullish and looking for price to go into 1.300. Euro pound here. This one, we had a big move up